Good morning, good morning, good morning everybody. First off, just don't mind my crazy lashes. I am taking the plunge, you guys, and I am actually going to let these lash extensions just fall out. I'm going to give my lashes a break, and I think I'm going to give my nails a break for the next little while. So I'm waiting on these to fall out, so if my lashes look a little bit crazy, that's because they are. Anywho, how are we all? It just got very dark outside all of a sudden. This morning I wanted to do one of two things, or I wanted to do two things. I am doing two things. I wanted to update you on my current makeup routine, what I'm using, all that kind of stuff, because a lot of you have been asking about that recently. I've changed up a couple things, not a crazy amount, but probably 3 or 4 main things that I would usually use have switched up. So I thought I would show you what I'm using, my actual like routine, like how I do it, and the way I go about doing my makeup hasn't changed, but the products that I'm using have. And also I wanted to answer a couple of your guys' questions on solo travel. So obviously I was away on a little solo trip to Walt Disney World or Orlando, whatever you want to say, about 2 weeks ago now, and a lot of people didn't actually know on Instagram anyway. I'm pretty sure I told, maybe I didn't even tell you guys I was going on my own. A lot of people didn't know that I was going on my own, and then the reaction that I got when people realized that I was there on my own was like, what? A lot of you guys were curious how I got on, how I felt about being there on my own, how I managed just not feeling lonely or eating out and actual travel and things like that. So over on Instagram, I asked you to ask me a couple questions. I got a lot of questions, but a lot of them were kind of like repeated and quite similar. So I guess everybody has the same kind of things that they're wondering about solo travel. So I thought I could do my makeup and answer some of your questions on my solo trip. I have my tea, so let's get started. First off, I actually have been using like 2 new things for like skin prep in the mornings. How do you like my little clips? Aren't they so cool? My brother got them for me for my birthday. I love them. They're little like velvet slides from Anthropology. Oh, I lie, he didn't get them for me for my birthday. He got them for me for Christmas. First of all, obviously cleanse your face, but I've been using the Tatcha water cream. I wanted to get a new moisturizer and I picked this up when I was in New York. Actually, no, I'm not going to use that first. I'm going to use that second. I'm going to use the Drunk Elephant Be Hydra Intensive Hydration Serum first. So actually I got this as a like gift thing with my points in Sephora, and I wanted to try out some of the Drunk Elephant serums. It seems to be working quite well with my skin. It sinks into your skin really quickly, so it's kind of good for before makeup. It doesn't leave like an oily residue or a film or whatever on your skin, so your makeup goes on quite well after it. Serum on. Now the water cream. I tested this out in the back of my hand in Sephora and I was like, what? There's not many moisturizers I'm like, oh wow, my skin actually feels like it would benefit from that. I have very oily skin, so I feel like if anything is like too creamy or too heavy, it doesn't really sit well on my skin, especially before I put makeup on. So it's nice to find a moisturizer that literally almost turns into a liquid on your skin. See how glowy my skin looks? I love it. Okay, I'm just gonna let that sit in my skin for just a couple seconds before I actually put on any foundation, because I always find if you put on foundation straight after your moisturizers and your serums and whatnot, it tends to slide around a little bit. So I'm gonna go and get these questions. Okay, so just to get it out of the way, first and foremost, I'd say the most asked question about my travels was who took my photos, which is so funny because I updated my Instagram every day that I was there. So basically, I just asked other people to take my pictures. So I was in Walt Disney World, and anytime I seen like a cast member, so one of the employees going past, I basically asked them because they will literally do anything for you. They're all so sweet and very willing to do anything for you to make your experience more magical. So I just asked cast members when they were walking by and they had absolutely no problem. And all that I done was I got my phone. So basically the same way if I was asking my friends or family to take my pictures for Instagram, I got my phone and just showed them the type of photo that I wanted them to take and just told them to take loads. So that's basically how I got people to take pictures for my Instagram for me while I was away. But I know that that might sound like scary if you were away on your own to like start approaching other people and things like that. And I do have to say, on the first day that I was there, I got a picture taken in front of the castle, and I was like really kind of like not nervous, but I felt a little bit embarrassed going up and asking somebody to take my photo for me. But then I seen loads of people doing it, and as soon as I asked the first person to do it on the first day, after that for the rest of the trip it did not faze me at all. So it's like once you get over that hurdle at the start, it literally doesn't make any difference to you after that. You totally get over it. So that's what I did. Okay, makeup. So first off, this is one of the main things that has changed a little bit in my makeup routine. So for ages I was just using the Studio Fix fluid from MAC, but at the minute, because my tan is like practically non-existent, I have been mixing it with the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Gobi, because it's pretty fair in comparison to this one, and I don't have anything in between. These aren't really similar finishes of foundations either. This one is much more natural and radiant, still has really good coverage though, and then this one is a little bit more full coverage, but I kind of like the combination of the two together. They're working for me at the minute. Okay, another question that I got asked a lot: how do you get over feeling self-conscious / out of place being on your own? Is it lonely? And then somebody else asked, have you ever felt awkward or alone at some point? How do you eat alone and not feel awkward? So basically, like, how do you not feel awkward being alone? Or do you ever feel lonely? I think it depends what way you handle your trip as to how lonely you might get, maybe. So to me, there's so much to do in Walt Disney World that you're constantly being occupied. Your mind's occupied, you're going from one place to another, you have so many activities, I suppose, to do. There's so many places to eat, there's so much to see. You're never thinking about, oh, I'm kind of lonely, I wish I had somebody with me. It was very, very rare that I thought, oh, I wish I had somebody here, which is really weird, I know, because I have never traveled on my own before, like completely on my own for a trip. So I think the only time I really realized how far away I was from home and that I didn't have anybody with me was when I hurt my knee. So if you are new to the channel, and if this is your first time watching my channel, I actually dislocated my knee when I was over there. Go figure, it would happen to me. So that was the only time I actually thought, oh God, I have nobody here with me. But other than that, I really didn't think about it. Maybe until the like 4th day I was there. The weather was a little bit cold, and I think I might have ended up coming home a little bit earlier that night instead of like staying in the parks until later on, because it was too cold to stay in the parks. So I came on home a little bit earlier, and then I probably started thinking about it a little bit more. But as soon as I did, I literally just went out and did something. So I went and I grabbed some food in the restaurant in the hotel. And I think it's really about keeping yourself occupied, not letting yourself feel lonely as well. So if you do, go out and do something, get around other people. So I went, and instead of ordering food to the room or going and getting food and taking it back to the room and sitting on my own, I went out and had food around other people, so I didn't feel lonely. The other question that girl asked about eating alone, I don't really mind doing that myself, to be honest with you, anyway, because a lot of the time, even when I'm working or if I don't have anybody to go for food with and I'm out doing something, I don't mind eating on my own. I know people always say, like, you know, don't be on your phone when you're eating and stuff like that, but if you don't feel comfortable, your phone's always a good kind of buddy to have with you. It's nearly like having somebody there. Scroll through Instagram or something, nobody pays attention to you. I think in your head you work these things up more than they actually are, and you think that everybody's looking at you, and you think that everybody's like, oh my god, why is that girl eating on her own? But realistically, nobody thinks that. And if they do, who cares? As long as you're having a good time, that is realistically what matters. Next couple of things in my makeup routine haven't changed at all. So just quickly, I'm gonna just tell you what I'm using so I don't have to like stop in between talking. So I'm gonna use the NARS Natural Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Vanilla. And then I'm gonna set it all in place using my Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. Contour with my, whoops, sorry, I'm shaking my camera, my NARS Laguna Bronzer. And then highlight with my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed powder in the shade Opal. I'm gonna leave all of the makeup products anyway that I use linked down in the description box for you guys, as always, if you want to check them out. Okay, this is a good one. So, advice for solo trips to different cities. How do you stay safe? Have you ever done a trip like that? So, as I said, I haven't done a solo trip to a city like Paris or Rome or Milan or Barcelona or any other. I know I just literally named Italian and Spanish and French cities, but I haven't done a solo trip to any other cities as such. But I think the thing is, when it comes to staying safe, anything can happen to you anywhere. I was literally having this conversation with my mum when I came home, and before I went, not that I didn't think about this at all, but it probably didn't cross my mind until I was over there. I was so relaxed about this trip before I went. So many people, as in like my friends and family, were like, so are you kind of nervous? Are you excited? How are you feeling about going? And I was like, yeah, I'm just excited about going. I can't wait to get over to Disney. And I think in the back of their heads, they were all thinking, you know, about my safety and if I was going to be okay and if I was going to be lonely, the same way that you guys are asking these questions. But for some reason, that is not something that crossed my mind until I was there. You have to be so aware and so mindful of things that are happening around you and staying safe on a day-to-day basis, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you are on your own in a different country or if you're on your own walking home at night from work or anywhere. You just have to be safe no matter what, and be cautious and, as I said, aware of your surroundings and people that are around you and situations that are happening. So when it comes to being safe, just take all the same precautions that you would at home. Maybe you're not as conscious about things like that when you are at home, and if you're not, you should be, just in case, because you never know. And obviously nobody ever wants to think that anything bad is ever going to happen to them, but you just have to be really aware that these things can happen and just to be careful and to be safe. I didn't do any like crazy long walks at night or anything on my own when I was coming home from the parks. There was always a lot of people there, so I just tried not to put myself in any situations where I would be on my own for too long. I was always around like larger groups of people, or you know, people getting on buses to go back to the hotels, and lots of families and things like that. But again, anything can happen anywhere, so you just have to be careful. Okay, I'm just going to really quickly speed through setting my face and doing my bronzer and highlight, and then I will be back to you. So after that, then I move on to brows. I'm still kind of using the same thing with brows. I've been going between two things because I'm really trying to get out of my comfort zone right now with my brows and start trying to use some pencils as well. So I have been trying out the Precisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit. This one I actually really like, but I think I might have to change the shade down to maybe a 5. I have it in a 6 now. They gave me a couple of their brow products to try out when I got their roller liner, which I will talk about to you in a second, because oh, you guys, that is something that you need in your life. I think I might have to try out the shade 5 because it's a little bit more warm than this one here. I think this might be a little bit too cool for me. So I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to just use my usual like powder today. So I'm just going to use Embark from MAC. It's kind of like a warm chocolatey brown eyeshadow. But before that, I go in with my Benefit 3D Brow Tones. And I have been using this for so long to just comb through my brows before I start doing them. But I just kind of like that it tints your brow a little bit before you go in with your actual powder or your pencil or whatever. Okay, so one of the next questions, I'm sorry if you can hear work going on outside or crazy drills. They've started doing work outside my house today. Of course. Do you ever get nervous traveling so far away on your own? So yeah, as I said, I honestly did not think about this at all before I went. I kind of just was looking at the trip. The reason why I booked the trip so long ago. So I booked this like last year at some stage, like in the middle of the year or maybe like April time or something like that. And I really wanted to go to Walt Disney World. I went onto their website, seen that they had an amazing deal on, like I got a really good deal on like a package basically. I booked the flights separately myself, but I got a really good package deal on hotel and park tickets and a meal plan and things like that. So I was like, oh my god, I can't not do this. I can't pass this up. I had kind of looked at it for a day, and then I had spoken to my parents. I think I spoke to my mum about it, and I don't think she actually thought I was going to do it. And the day after, I think I just had to pay a deposit or something like that, and the day after I paid the deposit, I was like, do you know what, Grace, just go for it, just do it. And so many of you had messaged me, and you were so sweet and like super kind, and you were all like, oh my god, I can't believe you done that on your own. I really don't think I could have done that. You're so brave. But honestly, for me, in the last couple of years, I've really learned that if you want to do something, you should never let something get in the way of you doing that. Like, sometimes pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is a good thing. Sometimes the best things come out of taking yourself out of your comfort zone. So no, I honestly did not feel nervous traveling that far away on my own at all. I've traveled as in like flown and stuff like that before on my own to meet other people, so I didn't really mind the whole flying situation. That wasn't a big deal to me at all, so I didn't mind that. So somebody else asked, which is actually a really valid point, I didn't think anybody would think of this, did you go by yourself because no one wanted or could come, or because you wanted to go solo? What is with all of these works going on outside my house? Okay, I'm gonna fill in my brows first, and then I'm gonna hope that this noise stops outside, and then I'll answer this question. And that is my brows. Okay, next on to eyeshadow. My new favorite palette in the whole entire world right now is my Tartelette Toasted palette. It's this one here. I got this again when I was over in New York just before Christmas. It has been out for a while, but I just hadn't got my hands on it until then because you can't get Tarte in Ireland. You can order it in Ireland, but you can't actually go and physically get it yourself in your hands. You have to order it online. But yeah, I really like it. It's full of some lovely warm browns. This here shade is like so pretty. I love this one here. Is a transition color, and I use this one all the time as well. So what I've been doing mostly recently is using this here shade, which is Latte, first in the crease, and then I go into this one called Cozy, and then I stick that in afterwards. So I've just been using those two eyeshadows, and that has been my entire makeup look for my eyes. Well, apart from like my eyeliner and my mascara, but that's it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. What was that question again? Oh, did I want to go because I wanted to go on my own or because nobody else could go? Kind of a mixture of the two. So one, I really wanted to go. You all know I am such a big Disney girl. I freaking love it, and I hadn't been in about 2 years, and so much had opened in the park since I had been there. So there was Toy Story Land, Pandora was there was a couple new rides that were, or a couple of rides that weren't running when I was there beforehand, and also Epcot's International Festival of the Arts was on. So there was a lot happening and a lot new to the park to the parks, plural should I say, since I was there the last time. So I knew that I was going to have loads and loads to do, and in my head, honestly, I really wanted to do a solo trip because I had heard so many people speak positively about traveling solo. My dad's done it before, my mum's done it before, and in my head it was just something that I really wanted to do. I just said to myself, at one stage in my life, I want to travel solo. So I just said, screw it, I'm gonna go. I've mentioned this before, but my work schedule is just so different to a lot of my friends' work schedules. So I didn't expect them to be able to go either or want to go. Everybody has different interests, and Disney is just one of mine. So I didn't really mind having to go on my own. I wanted to go on a solo trip, and again had heard so many people advocate going on one, so I just said, do you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So yeah, I kind of went on my own for both reasons, because not because nobody wanted to go, but I didn't really expect anybody to want to go, and because I did want to go on my own. Back to my makeup really quickly. I just kind of blend that through the crease and also underneath my eye as well. Okay, so after I've gone in with that color, I'm gonna go in with Cozy. What an excellent name. I'd love to be the person that comes up with the names for eyeshadows or lipsticks. There's the noise again. Okay, eyeshadow done. It's really quick and really simple. I'm not very specific with it. I just throw it on and it does its thing. And then next I just pop on some of my Benefit roller liner. So you guys, this is my new favorite eyeliner. I absolutely love it. I love when I come across a new makeup product that I love. So they had like a launch for this like last year at some stage. I think they actually launched this around Christmas time. Might have been about the start of December, the middle of December last year. They do have it's roller lash, isn't it, the mascara? So they came out with roller liner eyeliner, and I love this. They really hit the nail on the head with it. So I've been using it since it launched. I think I actually tested this out yeah, I did. The very first time I used it, I actually used it on camera, and I was really impressed with it that day. And one thing I think that I was a little bit concerned with was that the nib was going to wear a little bit. So it's a felt tip liner, which makes it really, really easy to use, and I was a little bit afraid that the tip of it was going to wear, because they do tend to do that. This one hasn't, and we're what, nearly 2 months on from it? I'm gonna say almost 2 months on from me getting this, and I still love it. It lasts such a good amount of time, like morning to night. If I put this on in the morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, it's still going strong. In the afternoon, in the evening, it's still a little bit difficult to get off, which is good. I know that might sound bad, but it's a little bit difficult to get off, so that means that it stays put throughout the day. And it's super black, like really opaque. It's not like a watery black that you can kind of see through. It's a really black eyeliner. It actually also comes in a brown, which is nice. So at the launch that they give this to us to try out, one of the girls that works for Benefit was actually wearing the brown one, and it was actually a really nice dark brown. I quite like a brown eyeliner. I just haven't tried it out yet, but I think I might try it out a little bit more during the summer when I don't want my eyes to look quite as dark. But anyway, I am a huge advocate of a winged liner, and I really like this, and I highly recommend. So if you're on the lookout for a new eyeliner, definitely try it out. I love it. Oh, and also, as I said, I'm going to stop wearing my lash extensions for a while. So that means I have some scope to test out new mascaras. So if you have any that you really love, please leave them down in the comments, because I'd love to try out some new mascaras. You all know that I really, really like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, but I am open to trying new ones. This one isn't even the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, but I have to use it up, and it's been working okay for me. So, and last but not least, my lips are the huge. Oh, did I leave it downstairs? I'm gonna have to go and get it. I'm gonna be using Iconic Nude lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury, and Penelope Pink lipstick, also from Charlotte Tilbury, because this old dog isn't gonna learn any new tricks. She likes that lip combo, and that's what I'm gonna use today. Okay, I didn't leave the liner downstairs, but I did. Oh, the liner's here. Okay, so I just fill in my entire lips, we have 2 of them, with Iconic Nude lip liner, and then go in with Penelope Pink lipstick. I love the name Penelope. Does anybody else love that name? Side note, did anybody ever watch, oh my god, what was the show called, and the girl in it was Penelope Pitstop? If somebody can remember what that show is, please leave it down in the comments, but I used to watch it when I was younger. Okay, and that is my whole makeup look at the minute. Everything that I'm using to do my current makeup routine. Okay, I have to touch up a couple of these little waves, but before I do that, I'm just gonna have another look to see if there's any other questions, and we'll answer one more. This girl didn't even ask a question, but this does actually sum it up quite well. So she just said, this just inspires me to have my own me time trip. You're such an inspiration, much love. Thank you very much. That's really, really kind of you. I always think it's mind-blowing when somebody tells me I'm an inspiration, because that just seems so like crazy to me. But thank you so much anyway. That's super, super sweet. But that's exactly what it is. It's me time, and I think there's nothing more important than having time to yourself and time with your thoughts. And one thing, if I could say one thing about my solo trip, I learned so much when I went away. Like I felt like I came home with a wealth of knowledge about myself, which is incredible. And I felt so revived and so refreshed and so motivated and ready to take on the new year. I knew it was like the end of January when I came home, but I really think that maybe halfway into the trip, that might have been when I started to feel not lonely, but maybe just more aware that I was away on my own. But I don't think I ever would have said that I felt lonely at any stage, but definitely aware that I was on my own. But I can remember sitting one night or maybe one morning, and I was like, do you know what? me being here shows me that I should never let anything get in the way, or like fear or self-doubt or what other people think about you. You should never let any of that get in the way of you living your dreams, pursuing things that you're passionate about, doing what you want to do. You should just always go for it. Just go for it. And I think that that is one thing that I'm going to take into this year, is go for it. Whether that's a job that you want to apply for, or somebody that you're interested in that you kind of hope that they would contact you, contact them first, go for it. Or a trip that you want to go on. If there's something in your head that you want to do and that you're passionate about, starting a new business for example, just do it, just go for it. As I always say, you're living your life for yourself, not for anybody else. So sometimes pushing yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit can help you grow as a person so much more. Obviously, while you're away on a solo trip, you have a lot of time to yourself and a lot of time to think and a lot of time with your own thoughts, a lot of me time. So I think it's a really good time to reflect, subconsciously almost, because I didn't entirely go with the intentions of doing that, but came home having done it. So yeah, I think that really is a huge benefit of a solo trip, is just coming home with a wealth of knowledge about yourself. Anywho, those are all the questions. If you do have any other ones, leave them down in the comment section down below and I'll try and answer them down there for you. And that is all of the makeup that I've been using recently as well, because lots of you have been asking me about that and to see some form of a new updated makeup routine. So I thought I could do the two at the one time, kill two birds with one stone. I'm not an advocate of killing birds with stones, but as the saying goes. So if you've got any questions on my makeup or whatever, leave them down below, but I will link all of the products and the brushes, etc. in the description box for you. I am gonna go and get some tea and get my day started now.